What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today it's spooky season, and this is House on Eden. This is a RELJ / Shudder title. It's already on AMC Plus, and I actually had to go back and rent it because AMC Plus doesn't run audio description. So even though I subscribed to the service, I wanted to watch it with audio description. So I paid the blind tax on this movie for you. So I hope you enjoy it. I rented a movie that I had access to on a streaming service just so I could get audio description. That's what life is like as a blind film critic. Fun fact, no one is credited on this track. I made it all the way to the end, rented it off the iTunes store, Apple store, whatever we want to call it now. And no one got credited. I was expecting, because Audio Eyes does a lot of description for IFC and Shudder. I was expecting that, but there was nothing there. It just kind of ended with no, and it actually trailed out to the end of the movie. Like, it went all the way. I didn't get cut into anything else. It didn't start a new title. It played the whole film like it was supposed to because I paid for it, and nothing. So House on Eden is a found footage movie that it has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Might I be changing that score? We'll see. One way or the other, my review would either move it up or down, I guess, slightly. Yeah, three actors I'm not familiar with play these characters that are heading out. They play, like YouTubers. They're like, what is it? Hashtag scary AF is their spooky AF or something like that is their YouTube channel. And it's these two girls, and they have a guy that's their cameraman, and they're headed out to this. They found there's this abandoned house in the middle of nowhere that's supposedly haunted, and some woman went missing there like years ago, and they're gonna head out there. And when they get there, it's this like stacked mansion with power and electricity running. It's just this house in the middle of nowhere that is perfectly lit up, you know what I'm saying? Like it's got everything, but nobody's home. When they go in there, things start getting weird, and they start uncovering the history of the house on Eden. So yeah, you could say it's a little like Blair Witch Project, except for I actually don't like Blair Witch Project, and I never have. Not really. I respect it for what it is and for what it did for the genre, but I think we've made better found footage movies since then. I think it allowed for other films to build on the concept. It opened the door to say, this is okay, and people will watch this. Now make a better film. But yet we continue to hold up the Blair Witch Project like it's the be-all end-all of found footage movies, and I just don't think it is. I think it's shitty. I remember back in the day looking at it and being like, why is the pile of rocks scary? And even the end of the film, when you finally get there, it's like a hot second and it's like a jump scare and you're done. So it doesn't really, you spend a whole lot of time wandering around the woods. They get lost because the dude kicks the map into a stream. Like, it's so random. So, House on Eden, it's not that I think it has an unclearable bar. Do I think it's heavily influenced by Blair Witch? Sure. I mean, they're walking through the woods, and they walk through the woods far longer than they should. That's probably my biggest problem with House on Eden, is the fact that you're not a very long movie. It's like about an hour and 20 minutes. And I want to say about 45 of it is them walking. It can't be that long. 40, 35 minutes. It's like a third of the movie. It's just them getting there and like building up the story and us learning the characters without really any scares or anything. Like, your child could watch the first 30 minutes of the movie and be fine. Like, you could just be like, well, the five-year-old's in the room is that okay for first? Yep, they'll be fine. There's nothing happens. I don't remember anything substantial. Maybe they cursed a couple times. I don't know. I don't know, something. But no, it's nothing spooky happens until they actually get to the house on Eden and then start learning the history of it. The acting's fine. like for what it, yeah, for what it is. There's, you know, I don't want to spoil it because then there's like no point in you watching the movie. But yes, there's something in the house on Eden, and there's a reason for it being there, and there's a story behind it. There's a little bit of lore. They have these little like ghost devices that they put out, and they try to do these things, the kind of things that you would see on these supernatural TV shows. There's a box, and they're like, well, this box, I can't remember what it's called, like an amber box or something like that, is a box that allows the dead to communicate. And I don't think that that was a particularly scary moment for me, but like if anybody, I feel like it could have been. I kept waiting for more from that scene, but it was kind of a predictable build. And later on, yeah, it gets kind of, they put cameras sort of around the house to try to record the footage to see, you know, all the different rooms and see if they can get any ghosts moving about. And things do get freaky and weird, and we see the house on Eden. At one point, I think they left and went to a convenience store. So I'm not even sure they're that far away from. I think that's what happened, right? Because they're in the thing, and one of them is sick or something, and they go to a convenience store, and there was like a woman in the back, and I remember that scene, but I think that scene was placed. It's hard to tell because it's found footage, and it could be edited that way. It's sort of like Late Night with the Devil. Like, I really love that movie, but the editing is weird. Like, some of it is like, okay, this is definitely found footage. And then other parts of it, you're like, this is not found footage anymore. It's like, who was there to film that? You know, that's always the problem with people with found footage is sometimes we bite off more than we can chew. And you're like, okay, so who was there? So like at the end of Late Night with the Devil, when shit hits the fan, I'm like, who's filming this? This is supposed to be like the lost footage from this episode. You know, the episode that never aired. And I'm like, is there a cameraman back? Is there, what's happening here? So yeah, it gets kind of wonky in some parts. So it's like, who edited this and who put this scene back here? So, I think I interpreted it as being like they left and went to a convenience store. If I'm wrong, then it means it's creative editing. So, but then they're back in the house, and one of the girls gets sick and has like a sort of like a reaction to the house. The other one doesn't. One of them also is more of a medium and channels ghosts. The other one is not. They're both kind of snarky. They don't really have that different of personalities, but they also feel like the kind of duo that you would find on a YouTube channel that would perfectly complement each other. Like two people who are basically like peas in a pod, like that kind of thing. And it didn't bother me that they didn't have wildly different character development. Like one of them is sometimes you need that, then sometimes it's like, yeah, these two feel like they're YouTubers. You know, I don't think we look like a ton of depth from the Property Brothers. We're like, yeah, they're the same people. You know, it's whatever. So that's kind of what this is. They feel like they're basically the same person, but they probably would be if this was a real thing. So, I thought the gimmick was interesting. I got it immediately, by the way. Like as soon as you see the name, you're like, oh well, I know what this movie is. That they're not using that name for anything else other than for what it's for. So I love that they had to read it. That was like, it's not a perfect film. I did enjoy it though, surprisingly. It's not a perfect film. Like the fact that these two are like looking up ghosts and everything, and they had to like read the story about the thing that they read the name on the wall. I was like, come on now. Like, you're telling me, are you doing this for the camera? Are you doing this for the few people in the audience who have no idea what that is? Are we doing that? Okay, we're doing it for Dave in the back. Dave's never been to a horror movie before. So but there's a very obvious name that links immediately to sort of like one thing. And if you've watched, I don't know, any really like more than like 3 horror movies, you'll probably be fine. And you're like, oh, so it's this. That's what's how. Okay, got it. Um, so I didn't really need them to. But I was like, maybe they're doing it for the camera. But they could have just told the story. They didn't need to. Anyways, they also get cell phone reception, which is really interesting out in the house on Eden. And they are able to like Google things and their cell phones still work, which is a choice. And honestly, it's a better choice. We get to so many of these films, and it's like, oh my God, my cell phone's not working. The battery is dead. The cameras aren't working. The power's out. And here it's like the power's on, the electricity's working, their cameras are functioning, they have batteries, and the shit still goes wrong. So I actually liked House on Eden a little bit more than I think everybody else did. Is it perfect? No. Is it definitely chasing Blair Witch? Absolutely. I like the audio description track. I think they spend way too much time leading up to the House on Eden, and I think the House on Eden was actually interesting enough that we could have spent more time there. The film is not very long, and there's stuff that, I mean, they could have explored the exterior of the house a little bit more. Like, we could have gotten there quicker. We didn't need to spend as long building these characters, traipsing through the woods. And that's one of the things that, like, Blair Witch is just basically, like, wandering around the woods and, like, being scared of that. Part of the scare of the original Blair Witch Project was just so hard for people when they watch it nowadays to think of it as, we actually, like, the marketing campaign, because they're unknown actors and we didn't know what found footage was, they really believed, there were people who believed these kids were dead. And like the marketing campaign from Artisan actually did a really good job of it. And it wasn't until after the film blew up that these actors were allowed to do press. So they weren't allowed to show up anywhere. And then suddenly I remember seeing like Heather Donahue on like Jay Leno, and she's talking about like how people in her life thought she had died because they saw Blair Witch Project. So, and she was like, I didn't want to spoil anything, you know. So, um, yeah, House on Eden owes something to stuff that came before, but really all found footage movies owe something to Blair Witch Project. It just doesn't mean that Blair Witch Project is the best. And just like when you think about it, Blair Witch Project owes something to a horror movie that came along before it. Probably whenever we started the film medium and we made the first horror movie. I don't know what that is, what that's considered to be. But who and what is horror to some people, you know? So, but yeah, the exploration of the genre, you know, some 70 years before that would have been the Blair Witch Project owes something to that, because if nobody had ever decided to be scary on film, maybe nobody ever would have been. Maybe they'd be like, oh, we can't show this on film. Film is for other things. So, yeah, in some ways we're all derivative, but House on Eden, there's enough here. And I feel like I need to justify it a lot because I know it has a pretty solid Rotten score that I'm not going to be able to do much with. But also, I'm not here to just regurgitate what other critics say. The audio description is fine. It could have been made by Audio Eyes. The voice sounded a little bit like it might have been AI. It wasn't a narrator I immediately recognized. Audio Eyes uses Nicole Cyril a lot, and this definitely isn't her. So I don't know. That's why I was interested to know where this was coming from. But if you want to see it with audio description, it's only available on the Apple Store. It's not available anywhere else. It's one of those annoying titles like Oh Hi. If you want to watch that, it's only available if you get it through Fandango. Obnoxious. So that's it. That's House on Eden. I'm gonna give it a 6.4 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it fresh. I don't think it necessarily reinvented the genre, and it's not the best found footage movie I've seen, but I did enjoy the movie, and it breezed by. So, thanks for watching. Enjoy your spooky season, and I'll see you guys on the other side.